Hello and welcome. This is World at Noon, coming to you live from Osrc television. I am Obi Chukwemeka Oti. Youths across the Southwest geopolitical zone have thrown their weight behind Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu to continue providing purposeful leadership for Ondo State and the region. The youths under the All Progressives Congress APC Southwest Youth Wing, through its leader, Mr. Kolade Lawal, said despite genuine concerns about the governor's fiscal absence in the Sunshine State, his return is imminent. Osrc Zaid Aribisala reports that the youths converged on Accra, the state capital, to demonstrate their stand with the state governor.
Youths under the auspices of the All Progressives Congress Southwest Youth Wing converged on Accra, the Ondo State capital. The purpose is to address journalists and demonstrate their stand with Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu, whose physical absence in the state has been subject of discourse. The APC Southwest Zonal Youth Leader, Mr. Kolade Lawal, who addressed the press, appreciated the genuine concerns of some residents about the governor.
We acknowledge the genuine concerns expressed by the people of Ondo State regarding the whereabouts of our beloved governor. Your inquiries and display of care underscore your unwavering support for the well-being of our people's God. In the story of creation, even God rested on the seventh day.
Mr. Lawal asserted that governance in Ondo State has not suffered any setback, evident from the payment of entitlements, provision of palliatives to citizens and other government actions towards a better life for the people.
The administration's commitment to good governance and the welfare of its workforce is exemplified by the payment of wages and salaries as at when due. The decision to employ 1,000 health workers, predominantly youths, is a significant stride towards enhancing healthcare services in the state, generating employment opportunity and supporting the younger ones. The governor has given an approval to employ, I think the hospital management board, to employ 1,000 medical practitioners. I think this will go a long way to reinforce our health department and health sector in the state. And if you look at it, take a holistic look at the statistics of people that will be recruited, you eventually discover that they are young people, and it will be a plus, to this administration and to the younger ones.
The APC youths acknowledged the role of Governor Akeredolu in the emergence of one of their own, Mr. Olawale Olawande, as Minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The youth leader attested to personal engagements of different stakeholders with the governor on state matters.
And over the weekend, I traversed the length and breadth of the Southwest states in line with our responsibility of office. And the Governor Akeredolu is such a unique governor in this country. As far as Nigeria of today is concerned, an average citizens of this country believes that Governor Akeredolu is that lone ranger, is that advocate of the masses, is that person, last man standing, that will stand by the truth and whatever he believes in, that he pursue it to the latter. So people beyond Ondo State, they love him.
The youths say the return of the Ondo State Emsman is imminent, urging all well-meaning individuals to continually support the administration and the leadership of the governor in the Southwest region with prayers and good wishes. Sahid Aribisala, Osrc News.
The need to have a reformed, effective and efficient public administration system, functional infrastructure and reliable regulatory services has been identified as ways for Ondo State government to achieve optimal business environment that attracts business and investment. This was stressed at a public service lecture held in Accra, the Ondo State capital, to end the 2023 Public Service Week in the state. Joy Pius reports that some public servants who distinguished themselves in their various endeavors were awarded.
The theme for the 2023 Public Service Week, organized by the Ondo State government, is leveraging on bureaucratic potentials for the promotion of investment in Ondo State, and it has in attendance permanent secretaries, accounting officers, union leaders, and the body of Ondo State public servants. In his welcome address, the Ondo State Head of Service, Kayode Ogundele, noted that the program is the second edition to be held since his assumption of office in August 2022. Mr. Ogundele added that the role of the public service as the machinery for implementing government policies needs to be refreshed at all times, and public servants appreciated so as to raise the bar of professionalism in the state, hence the essence of the program.
This year's Public Service Week was specially designed to engage public workers, public servants in interactive sessions with the head of service, and these will invariably afford the workforce, especially those outside the state capital, a sense of belonging, not only on the celebration, but also in the workings within the service.
The chairman on the occasion and former head of service, Mrs. Kushemani Kolawole, who noted that the program was apt, stressed its importance for workers of the state.
The characteristics of the bureaucracy includes specialization and division of labor, formal written records, competence to job opportunities, standards operating procedures, and impersonality in bureaucracy.
Speaking on the theme of the event, the guest speaker, Professor Adetunji Olaokpa, harped on the need for government to focus on enhancing the public service capacity as well as stakeholders' engagement skills for policy intelligence on investment.
You will need to identify the MDAs that are involved or implicated in specific priority investment transactions. How coordinated are they? Do you already have, like the chairman said, do you have one-stop shop arrangements? And do you have connected, how much have you deployed technology to connect all the MDA so that people, investors will not need to be going to all the ministries in order to get any information? So that in one spot, there are enough representation of all the MDA in the one-stop shop where they can collect all the information. These are the kind of things that will encourage and market this state.
Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu, represented by the Secretary to the State Government, Princess Oladunni Odu, stated that the state government has always been committed to the welfare of workers in the area of training and retraining, adding that the present administration will not relent in doing that.
Our administration will never undervalue your teamwork, understanding and commitment. And we shall, in thought and action, continue to give precedence to the welfare of public servants.
The event also featured presentation of merit awards to outstanding public servants who excelled in their various duty posts, as well as presentation of 30 SUVs to 7 permanent secretaries in Ondo State Public Service. Joy Pius, Osrc News.
The Chief Judge of Ondo State, Justice Olusegun Odushola, has pardoned 8 inmates of Olokuta Medium Correctional Center, Akure. Odushola ordered the release of the inmates during a visit to the facility in Akure. Some of the inmates were released for lack of diligent prosecution on the part of the Department of Public Prosecutions of Ondo State Ministry of Justice, and 1 on health grounds. 3 out of those who regained their freedom were released unconditionally, while the remaining 6 were released on bail. The Chief Judge said the need to decongest prisons made it imperative to release some inmates who had been in custody for many years without trial. He implored those released to turn over a new leaf and not allow the economic situation in the country deter them from making legitimate livelihoods. The newly appointed chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, Ola Olukoyede, has assumed office with a clear-cut agenda of repositioning and refocusing the commission for optimal effectiveness. The EFCC chief said the rule of law will dictate the pace of the organization. Olukoyede, who made the comment when he assumed office as the EFCC chief, said the agency will drive professionalism in discharging its duties in line with the rule of law. The EFCC's boss said the agenda revolves around clearer and robust pursuit of the mandate of the EFCC, creating an atmosphere for transparency and accountability in governance, emphasizing preventive strategies in fighting corruption, total adherence to the rule of law, and better welfare packages for staff of the Commission. He called on staff of the Commission to ensure dichotomies, narrowness, and disloyalty to themselves, the EFCC, and the nation, stressing that the Commission is legally equipped to be at the forefront of fighting all shades of economic and financial crimes. The United States Center for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, has reviewed its efforts to help Nigeria end the human immunodeficiency virus as a public health threat by 2030. To introduce its plans for an integrated health services delivery initiative. It made this known during its third biannual program performance review and stakeholder engagement meeting from October 17 to 19, 2023. The meeting was part of the U.S. CDC's commitment to regularly review and adapt programming to meet the needs of the HIV response in Nigeria, discuss achievements and challenges in HIV programming, as well as plan for state-led HIV responses, coordination, and sustainability efforts. The U.S. CDC Country Deputy Director Susan Therox emphasized the U.S. CDC's commitment to using science and data to guide the design and implementation of sustainable, comprehensive state-led health programming. She said building connections across diseases, responses, and routine health activities like immunization could only serve to strengthen the healthcare and public health systems in Nigeria. In another development, U.S. President Joe Biden has addressed the American people from the Oval Office, telling them that Hamas and Vladimir Putin both want to annihilate neighboring democracies. He added that making sure Israel and Ukraine succeed is vital to America's national security, and he will be making an urgent budget request for billions of dollars to Congress. Joy Pius has the report. We hope to bring you that report later. Meanwhile, Palestinians in the city of Han Yunis have held a series of funerals for their loved ones after days of Israeli strikes. The very young were killed and 10 members of a single family died in an attack in a residential building. A warning, this report shows some of those victims and those grieving their loss. Odwaya Sawyer reports.
This really is the darkest hour for Palestinians in Gaza, as it is for Israelis. The injured rushed into the Nasser hospital in Caron, one after the next. It was meant to be safe in here, in the south, but it isn't. It is small babies with the dust from rubble in their wounds. It is little girls crying for their mother. Outside in the city of Caron, it is chaos and screaming, and small bodies, terribly injured, rushed from the ruins of their homes. It's as though everywhere is reduced to rubble and to constant frantic searching. 13 days of siege and bombardment. 13 days since Hamas cast 2 people into hell. This is another hospital between Caron and Rafah, further south. This woman is identifying which in a line of dead babies are hers. A horrific scene. It is enough just to hear this pain and this rage.
Look at these children, these innocent children, how they've been killed in cold blood. Mr. Biden, look at these children. Who has killed these children? Look at us. Free world, where are you when this latest massacre is happening, which is occurring on this daily basis, this hourly basis?
This man's 1.5-year-old died in his arms when that missile hit. He saw his entire family wiped out. 8 babies, his own and those of his siblings, some of whom had just fled from the north and thought they had found safety.
Only civilians were martyred. Our children were martyred. None of us had taken arms. Not my brothers, not myself, not my sisters, not my mother, who was 60 years old. She was ill. We couldn't even find medications for her. She asked for medication before she was martyred, but we couldn't find any.
The Israeli Defense Forces has, however, denied attacking civilians. Aid is promised, but it is not here yet, most probably not till today. Egypt says, and even then, it is just 20 trucks that would not touch the sides, not in a humanitarian disaster on this kind of a scale. The death toll now in Gaza, as at the time of this report, stands at more than 3,700, health authorities say. Yes, Israel is picking up members of Hamas military command. Another senior figure has been confirmed dead. But who knows who is inside these body bags lined up in Gaza's morgues? And these little ones are certainly not Hamas. Children who had no choice and no say. Their fathers and uncles, the men of Gaza, filled with despair and rage. Who knows in which direction all that will go? Odunayo Sawyer, Osrc News.
We'll now bring you that report where we told you that U.S. President Joe Biden has addressed the American people from the Oval Office, telling them that Hamas and Vladimir Putin both want to annihilate neighboring democracies. He added that making sure Israel and Ukraine succeed is vital to America's national security, and he will be making an urgent budget request for billions of dollars to Congress. Joy Pius has the report.
From the White House, from the Oval Office, a presidential address. He was speaking from the Resolute's desk, a framing to emphasize a time of deep uncertainty, an attempt to weave together two distinct challenges, two distinct conflicts.
Hamas and Putin represent different threats, but they share this in common. They both want to completely annihilate a neighboring democracy, completely annihilate it.
The audience in the room, the First Lady, the audience beyond the auto cue. Well, it felt like it was first the American public wavering maybe on Ukraine, anxious certainly on Israel-Gaza.
American leadership is what holds the world together. To put all that at risk if we walk away from Ukraine.
At persuasion to America's doubters, those who think it no longer yields the influence or holds the power.
America is a beacon to the world. Still.
He spoke just hours after arriving back from Israel.
Most movingly, I met with Israelis who had personally lived through horrific horror of the attack by Hamas on the 7th of October.
Deep empathy from Israel's darkest day, but on the substance of a Middle East now in turmoil, a conflict that could spiral while he had little in the way of a path ahead. There was a repeat of the advice.
I caution the government of Israel not to be blinded by rage.
For Israel, a solidarity for Gaza civilians under bombs he is supplying.
We can't ignore the humanity of innocent Palestinians who only want to live in peace and have an opportunity.
There was perhaps an awkwardness in his message wrapping together support for the occupied in Ukraine, with the much more nuanced challenges of the Israelis and the Palestinians. But at such a complicated time, he sought to simplify it because he knows he needs the support of the American people. And he knows too that he needs the funding from the politicians in there. Joy Pius, Osrc News.
In a related development, British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has met with Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman in the capital Riyadh. This is his second stop on his Middle East tour, which included a visit to Israel. Sunak is pushing for humanitarian aid to be delivered into Gaza as soon as possible.
Welcome your decision yesterday that you took to ensure that routes into Gaza.
Pentagon has confirmed in a press conference that a U.S. warship shot down 3 missiles and drones that also described incidents that have taken place in Iraq and Syria, but gave no further details on the Ain al-Assad attacks reported.
The crew of the guided missile destroyer USS Kearney operate to utilize whenever necessary towards targets in Israel.
Ukrainian troops on the southern front line have been trying to retake roads and cut off Russian supply lines, say progress in the south
in trenches.